Do you think for yourself that you have formed a proper conscience? If that question resonates within you, then I'm John Paul E. Pedroza here to give you my persuasive speech, which concerns about proper formation of conscience. So, starting off from the moment we were born, our conscience begins to grow and the family becomes our very first teacher. It's in the home where we first learn the difference between what is right and what is wrong. I personally grew up with a family that is very centered to God, so conscience really puts an act to me as it bothers me when I do something unsatisfactory at my service to the church and also to my family. So this just shows that they really guided me well in forming this conscience that I can assure you is formed properly. But today, many families are struggling to guide their children as conflicts at home often push the youth away, and instead of turning to family for support, many young people unfortunately turn to social media. The problem is, social media isn't always safe. In fact, the Mayo Clinic warns that too much screen time can harm a teen's mental health and overall well being. As for myself, at the time of the pandemic, I became reckless at my studies because of my screen time concerning games, and this caused conflicts between me and my parents. Looking back now, that experience shows me that my attitude was really awful, and if someone grows up with trauma or constant conflict, their conscience can become clouded. That means the decision they make may not always come from a place of truth or goodness. A conscience that is formed in pain is typically harder to trust. But this does not mean that there is no hope for those young people. In fact, there is hope. Families and schools can work together to guide the youth toward forming a strong and mature conscience. Parents need to give attention, schools need to teach values, and most importantly, we or us as teenagers must surround ourselves with the right people and choose wisely. If we do all our part, we can grow into a generation that stands for what is good, what is the truth, and what is right. And as for all of this potentially can form a proper conscience that its basis is what is good for the people and for yourself. And at the same time, it also avoids what is wrong.